Hello YouTube, and thank you to all my new subscribers. Again, if I've helped you in these videos, please just click the subscribe button, and that way maybe one day I will get a discount on something when I actually do one of these videos. So today I'm going to be changing my brake pads on my Suzuki GSX 650. So basically you've got the front brake pads, which are these ones. These are the part numbers. Again, I'll put a link in below so you can check it out if it's still online. I got these from eBay. I've looked everywhere and I basically got the complete set for £51. So you've got the front, rear, and this is the front. So basically straightforward. You're going to need a flat screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, a ratchet or spanner, a 12 and a 14, and a set of Allen keys. Okay, so if you want to know when you need to change your brake pads, just have a look at them. You can see the wear limit on there. These ones got a bit more left, but I've decided to swap them, so that's what a new brake pad looks like. So again, I got a bit of life on these, but I thought this is the first sunny day we've had in a while, so I'm going to change them. So for the front brake pads, you simply need a 13mm socket. You'll need an Allen key. I believe it's a 5mm Allen key. Before you unbolt these two 13mm bolts, you'll need the Allen key to take out a pin that holds the brake pads in. It just sits just there. So simply remove this pin, and then you can access the brake pads after you remove these bolts. And then the caliper should come off like that. Just remove the calipers. Now inside, the brake pads literally just sit in there. Now there is a special tool you have to open the pistons, obviously to fit the new brake ones, but I only seem to have the car one. I don't have anything for the motorcycle, so I'm going to carefully pry them open with a pair of mole grips. Careful not to damage anything. Also, while I'm doing this, I will be replacing the brake fluid because it's quite dirty. So the brake fluid sits in here. The darker the brake fluid, the more you'll need to change it. It starts off quite light and it gets darker as with age. So I'm going to be changing that. You'll need to syringe that out. If you get any air in this, you'll have to bleed the system. Again, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So to expand the pistons, all I've done is put the brake pads back in and then just stuck a screwdriver in there, and now they're fully pushed in. Now the reason why you need to open the reservoir is as you do that, the level will go up, and obviously if you're not careful it will squeeze straight through here, go over the bike and make a mess. So as you see, one is just brought it literally up over halfway now, so by the time I do the other one it will overflow. So again, I will be draining this just to be on the safe side. I don't want it going on the paint and damage everything. So now we've got this caliper ready, we will put the new brake pads in. Okay, the new brake pads just simply slot straight in. Obviously make sure you put the brake pads with the compound facing on the inside, if not you'll have sparks coming out. So that's one in, and then you just put the other one in, and then once you slot that in, you just put the pin just to hold it in place. Okay, so once you put the brake pads in, just put the two bolts in here, line up the caliper, and then you screw that in there, and then put the brake caliper pin in here. You'll have to jiggle it around just to line up the brake pads. Once you've got it in, tighten that up. Okay, now I'm doing the opposite side. So again, loosen these two bolts, and then you've got to take that out Allen key. So again, 7mm Allen key. Because I painted these bits stiff, so while it's a bit loose, just break that off. Yeah, very tight. Okay, so remove this pin. Very good. And just take this out. And this one. So again, take the 2 bolts off, work the caliper free, and then again we're going to stick screwdriver in there and just pry that open until the pistons are fully flat against the casing. Again, I've just drained some of the oil out so it won't overflow. So again, put the old brake pads in, and then I'm just going to pry that open and then replace the brake pads basically. Okay, I've just pried it open now, should be all good. Again, replace the brake pads now. So I've just replaced the new brake pads now. I've given it a little squirt of brake cleaner just to clean inside. Now normally I would put copper slip on this, but apparently that's not allowed anymore, so I've stopped doing that. If it does squeak, I will try and get a special brake compound just to put on the pads, but there wasn't any on the bike when I got it, so I don't see to put any need for it now. So just again repeat the process, now fit it back on. Again, just simply put the 2 bolts in, tighten them up. I made a mistake earlier on. I said it was a 13 and a 14. This is actually a 12mm. So just put that on, tighten that up. I will torque it to the correct settings in a second, as soon as I get the brake pads checked. So again, put the pin in here. Again, you'll have to wiggle it around just to line up the brake pads, and then just tighten them all up. So just tighten that up, and then tighten that up. There you go. So I will torque that to the correct specifications later on, which I have no idea what they are, so I will check that and I'll get back to you. If not, I'll just do it to about 20 foot-pounds, should be okay. I'll double check. Now we're going to need to bleed these in a second. Now I'm going to use .5 brake fluid. Use whatever brake fluid you've got. Basically we're going to bleed it, pump it through, and when it runs clear, then you know the brakes are done. So basically that's the front brakes. I'll go through the bleeding process in a second, and then I will do the rear brakes. By the way, antifreeze in the bike is in about 12 million parts because I'm actually doing a full service, but I've run into a slight snag at the moment. The fuel tank is off, and I'm just going to change the spark plugs which live in here, but I've run into a little problem where I can't get the coil packs out. I know how to get them out, but I don't want to get them out that way. It is a pain in the ass, so I will show you the full service on this in a second. I'll make another video for that one, but at the moment we're just concentrating on brakes. Now for the rear brakes, again, it's pretty much straightforward. You will need, these are the rear brakes. You've got a flat screwdriver here instead of an Allen key, and then you've got 2 nuts. One is a 12 and I believe the other one's a 13. So again, just remove the brake pads. Again, you can see some signs of wear. There's a little bit left, but they look a bit rusty and a little bit dirty, so I'm going to replace them. Now the reservoir for this sits behind this panel here, and again, when I'm bleeding the system, I'm going to bleed everything together. Okay, simply just take that cap off, which I've now just, oh here we go, I thought I lost it there. So that's just a cap to remove, and then you've got the Allen key with the actual pin underneath. So just find the correct Allen key now. So again, it's the same size Allen key, which is a 5mm. Again, take the pin out, and then we're going to change these pads. Okay, so the caliper is back on. Now you have to make sure, I'm not sure how I'm going to show you this, but there's two locating pins for the front caliper. Just make sure they're lined up. If not, it will knock into the wheel and it will damage the wheel. Hang on. I don't know if you can see it, but basically these bits have to lock into a clip on the front here. If not, the brake pads will hit the wheel and you'll hear a clunking noise. I'm sorry if I couldn't show you that clearly, but when you take it off, you'll see. So I've bolted all of that back together. You've got a 12 and a 14, so that's a 14 and that's a 12, and then again we're going to need to bleed these brake pads, so we're doing that in a second. Okay, I don't know if you can tell the difference. The fluid is now going clear where it was dark brown before, so I'm just flushing it through the system at the moment. So that's what the brake fluid should look like, a nice light brown, and as you can see, that's what it did look like. So I'm just using this brake bleeding kit, just pumping every time I pump it will go through there. Just make sure you don't get an air bubble in here or you'll have to restart. So just keep topping it up every time it goes low, just keep topping it up. And then I've got the bleed nipple cracked open a bit. I'm just pumping it through, so now I know the system's clear. I am actually going to bleed it. So to bleed it, you'll need a 7mm Allen key, sorry, 7mm spanner. So this is a non-ABS model, so all you do is squeeze, 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 hold it down, and then put your spanner on here and then just let it go. But you have to obviously be squeezing the brake lever. Obviously I can't unfortunately film and do this, so you can just see now the fluid, as you see, is quite clear. It's running clear through the hose. So this side is done. All I have to do is bleed the opposite side now. Okay, I've now bleeded both sides. How do you know if you bleeded it enough? Basically, you'll know because it'll be really tight. Now, you really don't want to press this hard on the front brake or you'll go over the front. So I've changed the fluid. Now you can see it's a nice light golden, I would say, opposed to the dark colour. So now both fronts are done. The brake lever feels nice and sturdy. I can't squeeze it much more than that. Before, obviously, when it's got air in the system, you can squeeze it all the way, but that seems to be fine. Both sides are now done, so I would say the front of the bike is now done. Now to do the back, to get to the reservoir, you'll have to open this Okay, so this is the back one. As you can see, it's not as bad as the front one, and this is going to be the brake lever. So we're going to just repeat the process. So just down here we've got the nipple here, just take that off. Hopefully this is the same size. I believe it's an 8mm. Just double check that. So again, put the bleed adapter on and then put your spanner on, and then just loosen that a little bit. So just pull it up, loosen it off a little bit, and I'm just going to pump the brake pedal. Again, just see the colour of the fluid coming out. This one is not as bad as the front, but I'm going to change it anyway. So just keep pushing down on this handle, and as you see, the reservoir's going lower and lower. Don't let any air go in there, keep topping it up, and then when we come to the final bleed again, so you push down on the lever, open the bleed valve, and then close it, and then it should be fine. Okay, we're all back together. The bike is fully done. I've put all of these new I forgot what you call them, but it's just golden thing. I've replaced all the nuts and bolts so they're all matching across the whole bike. Earlier on, when the petrol was leaking, it was actually because the fuel line, I didn't clip it in correctly, but now it's all in and it's all adjusted. So the bike is done, and that's basically the service done. I've also fitted a brand new camera system to the bike. I'm going to be testing that out on my next video. It's the Blue Sky camera system. You got the front camera here, and you got the back camera I've fitted up here. It looks pretty good. It's probably one of the best cameras. It lives underneath the seat, just here. So there you go. Look out for the next video where I show you if this is worth any money. It's about 100 quid anyway. Alright, bye. And again, if I've helped you, please click a like and subscribe. Hopefully one day I'll get enough people where I actually get some money off some stuff. Thanks, bye.